There we go. The recording is in progress. So you're wrong. We're on page 11.
Oh, busted.
So there.
There you go.
Base. Siman base. Lo yilbash chaluka miyushav. You shouldn't put on your shirt. Now, again, so we're talking about waking up in the morning. Just want you to know there is somebody from Los Angeles who's on the Zoom, and they're, yeah, Cheskel Vansky is on. Like to welcome you, Cheskel. So you should not put on your shirt, literally, or while you're seated. So what is this talking about? So again, let's just get into context. We're talking about waking up in the morning, right? So various halachas about waking up in the morning. So we're going back to that. So you're waking up in the morning. So you're getting out of bed. So you have to get dressed. Now again, I think I mentioned it in the morning because we're close to this in the morning also. Don't forget, in the old days, not that long ago, when people slept, they did not have pajamas. We're all fancy. We have pajamas, and okay, maybe they had a nightshirt or something, but those were also fancy people. But in general, people, I heard stories about Gedolim, my generation, who were older, came over from Europe. They didn't wear a t-shirt. There was no such thing as a undershirt. They didn't have an undershirt. They didn't have an undershirt.
The time was first, and then the regular shirt.
Well, a lot of times people wore the tzitzis on top of the shirt. Well, that's a whole separate issue about on top of the Rizal. Okay, let's leave that. But oh, actually, I don't want to say who, but there's a famous picture of a famous gadol, and he's learning. They have a picture of a famous picture, and he has a tzitzis on top of his shirt. So it always bothered me because this person went. So I asked one of the grandchildren, I asked somebody who's close, and I said, your grandfather wore it's just over a shirt. He said, no, he didn't. I said, but in the picture. So he said, because he had a pacemaker put in. And that was and so he had an incision. So he it bothered him to have it tzitzis on. He didn't wear an undershirt, so there was some pictures. So everybody thinks that this guy wore tzitzis over his shirt, but he didn't. It was just like a temporary thing until the incision healed. But anyways, so people when they went to sleep, they didn't have their clothes on, right? They took off their clothes. So now when you're getting out of bed, you don't have any clothes on, right? So therefore, the halacha is that while you're still in bed, like you're Ela yikach haluka v'yichnas bo roshav zerasa ba'odo shochev. So you should take a shirt or something while you're still lying down and put it on. V'nimsa kishiyakum. So it'll turn out that when you get up out of bed, shumachusa, you're covered. So again, so what is this? This is a tznius thing. So Mishnah Berurah, I think we mentioned this in the morning also. That this is a tznius thing. That Hashem is everywhere. Mishnah Berurah quotes it. It's not from from Uncle Moshe. Before that, so from way before that. Halo kol haaretz, melo kol haaretz kavod. Hashem is everywhere. It doesn't make a difference, day, night, light. It doesn't make a difference to Hashem. So therefore, since Hashem is there, so you might think it's dark and it's very early in the morning or whatever. But it does make a difference, Hashem. So you have to be in its tznius. Now, again, for us, it's not such a big issue because we have pajamas on, and when we get out of bed, and I think most people, and so therefore it's less of a problem. Now, but the Mishnah Berurah does say something interesting. It says, yado ad but you don't have to be completely covered when you get out of bed. Like your arms could be uncovered, and your neck could be uncovered until the torso, So again, there is a slightly lower level.
How do you get the shirt to begin with?
Yeah. So what do you mean?
If you're laying down without the shirt on, you're naked, right? Whatever. How do you get the shirt to put it on?
It's like it's a big shirt. It's like I don't know. In those days, don't forget they had like robes and things like that. Like a robe or whatever. Oh, you're saying because it says, do you put your hand in or whatever? However, the concept is there.
Sleep next to the shirt. What do you do?
Put the shirt next to the bed. Put the shirt on a chair.
Okay.
Next to the bed.
Why don't you sleep with it?
Now
That's
the Mishnah Berurah in base gets into some very interesting things, and he talks about uh, that if you put on your clothes improperly, like inside out or something like that, it's not good for your memory to remember things. And then he gets into
I forgot already.
oh, you forgot already. Yeah,
forgot already.
that's the old joke. So then the Mishnah Berurah goes on and says, "V'chein yizar milil bo shnei malbushim yachad bepam echad." And also, you shouldn't wear two articles of clothes, the same article of clothes, when you put them on at the same time, right? In other words, like I don't know, maybe somebody would wear two shirts, right? Somebody might wear two shirts. I don't know, but again, usually you're going to put them on different. If you do that, I mean, I don't think I've ever done it. I don't. You put them on at two different times, right? You wouldn't put them on together the same time, right? Now, again, like Zach was saying, let's say you have T-shirts and you put on 2, 3 T-shirts at the same time. Actually, I saw somebody do this once. Now, again, don't go to this halachic l'maisa, but let's say Rachman somebody's an ovel, so for a parent. So somebody just called me about this from Los Angeles last week. So they're in Avelis for their mother. So, but they bought certain things, clothes, before their mother passed away. Like what are they gonna do? Like wait a year until they bought it? Like they bought it a year ago. It's like I mean, they didn't buy it a year ago, but it will turn out that it'll be a year until they wear it. So there is some hold a heter that if someone else pre-wears it.
It leaves with the co-cell instead of during Creo.
Right.
You linked it yourself.
Right. Oh, okay. I have a whole story about that. Really generic. When I think I made a good impression. This is the first day I was in yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael. So they were taking the guys to the kosel for Rosh Chodesh Elul. So we were in a tender. The tender. It's like a little mini bus. So we were going to the kosel, and Rabbi Yitzchok and Rabbi Kinerik were sitting like on the other side. They turned to Rabbi Kinerik, I'm like a guy from LA. They didn't know what I was, a guy from LA. What's that? Like a dinosaur. Not even a dinosaur. The dinosaur you could say existed. Like this, like couldn't figure it out. So I turned to Rabbi Kinerik and said, "Do I have to rip Kriya? Because I haven't been to Koso." So I think so he handed me his pen and he said, I'm acquiring your clothes. So that way it's my clothes and you don't have to tear it. You can't tear my clothes.
Oh, so you would tear Kriya even on Rosh Chodesh?
Yeah, I think that, yeah. So anyways, so Moshe has a whole thing about, Moshe has a shita, I think, that if you go like Erev after Chatzos, so you don't rip Kriya. Everybody says that because it's too close to Shabbos. But Moshe, most people don't hold this way, but Moshe holds the next time you go, you have to rip Kriya. Yeah, it's very interesting. So anyway, so I didn't rip Kriya. But then going back, I was sitting across from Rabbi Kinerik, and I saw he ripped Kriya. So I turned to him and I said, "Well, why didn't the Rabbi Kinerik rip Kriya?" He said, "Because when you asked me the shaila, I remembered I haven't been at the kosel for 30 days. I left, so I remembered I was chayiv. So I didn't ask him, like, why didn't you just have somebody acquire your." So many years later, Rabbi Burstein, I told this person, Rabbi Burstein, the manahal of Beis Yaakov LA, and he came up with an answer. He said, maybe, you're a bacher and you're far away from home. Like if you rip something, it's hard to replace. You're far away from home. Like you're not going to buy an Israeli shirt. You're an American. You're chas v'shalom. You won't do that. So, but Rabbi Kinerik felt, so I'll rip, I'll get another shirt, whatever it is. So I don't know. That could be the answer. But anyways, how we get on to that? Yeah. So don't put on two things at the same time. Also, so once we're talking about that, also if you read the inscription on a kever, on a tombstone, so also that also causes you to forget. Or if you look, it says mistakel. Istakel, there's a difference between lahabit or lahasta. Istakel. Istakel means you really look at the face of or the face of somebody who's passed away. Shouldn't stare at a person who's not alive anymore.
The individual or a picture?
The individual doesn't say anything about picture. So
Reading the inscription on tombstone?
we'll get into that. So so all these things are kosher for shicha. Now, now the Mishnah Berurah says, look at the Prima Garden, and you'll see about what if you did one of these things, what could undo it? What could undo the bad effect? So, believe it or not, the Prima Garden brings down that you dip your right etzba, right? This is the etzba, right? You dip your right etzba in salt. Now, again, don't ask me about this. I have no clue. I don't know. I'm just quoting to you what the deal is.
The whole thing?
Yeah, I guess.
You have a bowl that's big, just go with them.
Yeah, whatever.
And they use it for challah.
Something. There is a halacha, believe it or not. People don't know this. That when you eat bread, like on Shabbos, kavod challah, you're supposed to dip the challah into salt 3 times.
3 times?
3 times. People don't know this. People shake salt, but believe it or not, it's even brought down in the Mishnah. You're supposed to dip it in the challah 3 times. Rabbi Gruskin, who was a Rav in Detroit, has in his sefer somewhere, but I keep on forgetting, there's some gematria about lechem and alkim that I forgot how it works. I keep on forgetting. I guess I forget, did this too many.
Did you look at a tombstone?
Yeah, I saw nifta too many times. One of these things, put on too many shirts at the same time. Unfortunately, that's not my excuse. I don't know. Yeah, I want to mention.
Halacha to dip 3 times?
Yeah, it's brought down on local. People don't know. People use a salt shaker, but but I do this.
If I take a salt shaker, like shake
So
it
onto the board and then dip it 3 times. Right, that's what you do. Right. So that's why. Aren't you happy you came? So, yeah, that's very. That's why Rebbes have those bins.
Yeah.
But you have to know that's a problem in a different area of halakha because that's brought down in halakha. You have to have separate milchik and fleishik because we're scared you got some fleishik or milchik in there. And salt shakers were not makpid about, but it's a separate thing. You have to come to my class in school about that. Now, the Marsham brings down that when we talk about reading the inscription on a kever, that is if the inscription is jutting out. The letters are, what's the word I'm looking for? Are raised. Not that they're sunken. Like sometimes you see
Engraved.
You engrave and it would be sunken, right? If they're sunk there, it's not a problem, he says.
Yeah.
The Marsham says if it's sunk, it's not a problem, only if they're raised. Now you go to Batei Kfara, some have one and some have the other. So like I think in Eretz Yisrael they're usually in, so it's not a problem. Now they have a thing that I remember they asked me about my mother and my father's, that they have lead. So I don't know if it's sunk, it's like even. It's like they use lead to write the letters. So
I'm not sure who was Mishnah Berurah, but has the shita that reading the words on the kavarim could have shikha.
Right. That's what we're talking about.
Why? Like
I have no idea. All this stuff is, I have no idea. It's all this. Right.
The Kabbalah?
Yeah. You know where Hebrew comes from?
Yes, I know Hebrew. You said.
Comes from Hebrew.
Yeah,
It's brought down in halacha. I don't want to say Kabbalah. It's a Gemara, right? It's a Gemara. I don't want to say Kabbalah, but I just mean Kabbalah that we don't. I don't know the reason. There's no, Again, well, let me ask you this question. According to the Marsham, it's only if it's out letters and not in letters. What difference does it make? Right? But evidently, it makes a difference. I don't know what.
How they test it? So this is about FDA.
I don't know. No, I get. Don't forget, everything's from Sinai, right? So.
Just sounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds odd.
See, again, well, yeah, to us it sounds odd because we don't know the reason, right? We're Americans. Everything has to sound logical to us. It's not logical, so then we don't like it. But like, there's realms that we don't understand. And does it make a difference at what shoe you put on first, or which one you tie first, or
Right.
well, like my turn. Just one other thing. The Magen Avraham brings down that once we're talking about forgetting, I forgot about this, that if you wipe your hands after you wash your hands, if you dry your hands on your shirt,
Sure.
that's not good.
What kind of washing, even coming out of the bathroom?
Yeah, anything. You dry your hands on. Now, believe it or not, I have to admit, not that I do it too often, but I caught myself almost doing this here because I dried my hands on a towel, but then they were still a little wet, and I'm already, on my way. So what am I going to do? Right. So, you tempted to go like that, right? To just write on your hands on your shirt, right? It's not so wet. It's just like, a little damp. So I don't know if the Prima Gun is talking about that. Again, if you want to look it up, it's Siman Kufno Ches if you're Zion. Huh?
Not the pen.
It says Chaluko.
Well, it's probably not a good idea to do that anyway, because then you might forget on Shabbos and do it. And then
Yeah,
it's a really
I don't know.
problem, then it's a
Yeah.
real problem.
That's true. It might be, but again, let's say it's just it's not even wet. It's like, like it's some, I don't know. You're gonna find out I'm very mifunaki about a lot of things. Like I'm very fastidious about a lot of things. So like hands are a little wet, so big deal. It bothers me. Like all these things bug me. So okay. So that's about that. And tomorrow we'll talk about a little more about getting dressed or wearing something inside out. We'll talk about that tomorrow, Mir Hashem. Wearing something inside out. We'll talk about that. That comes up a lot, like with an undershirt or something like that. Like wear inside out.
Two things at once.
No, you don't see that. Yeah, you don't see that. It's just putting it on.
Just put it on.
Milil bosh mabushim yachad bepam achad. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Zuckerberg.
Okay. Yashkok, everyone. Mir Hashem tomorrow.